Welcome back, everybody, to the Rope Break. I am the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, Jeff Wolf. I am alongside Eric Vanek.
Hello.
We haven't been gone, but we've had the last 2 weeks of Raw. We haven't had a podcast yet, so we kind of figured there'd be a lot to talk about today, but there's nothing too major going on. So we just have bunches of little things to talk about, nothing really to review because, quite frankly, Raw hasn't been reviewable. It's not been that great of a show.
Yeah, and Smackdown has just been average, if not below average. It's just the typical WWE stuff, just boring, same old storyline crap, blah, blah, blah.
And it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better on SmackDown, at least. I mean, Raw's will go up and down, but SmackDown is SmackDown, and I don't even know that many people that even watch SmackDown anymore.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they're starting some new feuds, but it's like, these feuds, last, 2 months at the most nowadays. It's like, I don't like that.
No, they just have no patience anymore. I mean, it's not like how it used to be, where, you can build something up for months and months and months.
There's no payoff.
No, there really isn't.
They do, maybe one a year. They did Daniel Bryan last year, and they're probably doing Roman Reigns this year as, the payoff, is, a long, storyline.
Yeah, it's just, there's no, I mean, back then you were able to, and I don't say back then like I'm, 60 years old, and I'm talking about the 70s or 80s, even though we could go there, but I won't bore you. But just even, in the 90s and 2000s, there was actual rivalries. You look at, even Stone Cold Rock. That was an amazing rivalry, and it's because they gave those two people time to...
Triple H and Rock with Nation and DX.
Yeah, like Nation and DX stuff. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, even...
Raven and DDP.
Yeah, you could even say, Kane and X-Pac even had somewhat of a rivalry because they kept letting that go. It's now it's they don't really... That's why I kind of really like the whole Swagger and Rusev thing, because it seems like there's something there that they can keep going with, even though once they drop the whole America and Russia thing, it's I don't know what they're going to do with Swagger, at least. I think Swagger's going to be screwed again, but who knows. But
well, it looks like they're putting him with something with Bo Dallas.
Yeah, well, all he has to do is Bo leave. But since we were talking about SmackDown, let's get right into the show, and let's get into the first topic, and that is that SmackDown is going to be moving from Fridays back to Thursdays. SmackDown was on Thursday nights from the beginning, wasn't it? Wasn't it
in the beginning it started on Thursdays.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly the whole point of going to Thursdays. Maybe the fact that people are out at 8 o'clock in the evening on a Friday night because they have a life. So maybe they're you know what? Maybe we should put it back on Thursdays. Maybe we'll get bigger viewership. I mean, if it's on Thursdays, I think I would actually rather watch it on Thursdays than a Friday. I mean, not that I'm out every Friday. I'm not having this huge life or anything, but it's I think I would, me personally, I would much rather watch wrestling on a Thursday than a Friday.
Yeah, and I also think it was probably trying to finally put the dagger in TNA, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought maybe this is just their way of just finally pushing them out.
Yeah.
But then they went to what? Now they're going to Wednesdays?
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, God, TNA, just close that casket.
They're just like John Cena. They don't give up. Never give up.
No. Which is good for them for not giving up.
Yeah.
But that's another show that's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, so, all right, well, you want to talk about Raw from last night real quick?
Yeah, let's go ahead. What was your opinion of Raw? I know there's some good, some bad.
Yeah, pretty much that's probably what it. Some good, some bad. What was your favorite thing from last night? I'll ask you that.
My favorite thing from last night. It's sad that I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
Because I think the Bellas was maybe the best part of Raw.
Yeah, it was the last couple weeks, Nikki Bella, who has turned heel pretty much, she really didn't look comfortable in the role. And last night, she looked very comfortable. You could tell she was gaining confidence. And as she was going through the promo that she was cutting on her sister and being the heel, being the bitch, and she was just hitting it like she was like meant to do this. Like she was like made for this role, which is good because the Bellas have always been either those, the faces, or they've been just the, the annoying heels that, twin combo. It's like nice to see a little something different, a little more to the character. So I actually was hard on Nikki for SummerSlam, especially because she looked clueless at SummerSlam. But last night, I give her a lot of credit. She did a very good job with her promo, cutting it on her sister and being the heel last night.
Yeah, I thought she just got it. Like,
yeah, it like clicked.
Yeah, like something in her head where it's like, because a lot of times you watch these promos and you're like, wow, it just sounds so scripted. It sounds like there's just not many good people that can cut a promo. For her, for some reason last night, it was just completely natural. Completely natural.
Like, I think maybe it was that. Maybe they told her, look, your performances the last couple of weeks have been, shitty. And why don't you go out there and just, you do your thing. And maybe they let her do that last night. I don't have any inside knowledge on that. But if they did, she did an excellent job.
Yeah.
Maybe John Cena taught her how to be a heel. I don't know.
He doesn't have a heel bone in his body. Outside of that, I don't know if there was really much great about Raw. I thought the main event was crappy.
How about Damien Mizdow?
The thing about Damien Mizdow is that when they did that spinning thing on the entrance ramp, it reminded me of like Flawless with Michelle McCool and Layla.
Oh yeah.
Like they were spot on perfect for that. It went downhill from there, but it was spot on perfect for that. You got to give Damien credit for these. As dumb as they are, and as much as actual wrestling fans hate to see him in this kind of role because we know that he can be killing it out there. Yep. He's rolling with what he's given.
Yeah, and they pretty much have told him, you got to do the comedy route since Santino's retired and stuff, and they really don't have anyone else that's doing it. And I think it's just his way of getting on TV. He's pretty much, earning his keep in WWE, and I just hope this isn't like maybe a one-year thing and then they can actually do something with him again. But when he was with Cody, his tag team with Cody was great. Yeah. I loved his singles stuff when they actually gave him a push, and he had that mini feud with Sheamus, and he actually did a really good job with Sheamus.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of Sheamus, the number one contenders match for Sheamus' U.S. title was last night with Cesaro and Rob Van Dam, and it was atrocious. I don't remember a bad Cesaro match. And I don't blame it on Cesaro. I'm blaming it on old man Van Dam. Boy needs to just pack it up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but,
if you can't have a solid match with Cesaro, John Cena has had, two of the top, I don't know, we could say 10, 15 matches of the year with Cesaro.
Yeah.
That match was bad. It was just boring. And you know what? It kind of seemed like that's just how the night went. I thought Natalya and Paige's match wasn't that great. I think it was better than that. And Jack Swagger and Rusev had an okay match. I just don't like what they're doing all of a sudden with Swagger.
You had Roman and Kane and Seth
Yeah.
Rollins and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the main event, I didn't like how it turned into what it was. The only other thing I actually enjoyed last night was the start of a turn for Stardust and Goldust, and I can't believe we're actually talking on this like going forward now. A couple months, Stardust is here to stay. I thought that this was a joke. It's not. It is legit.
Yeah, I mean they're obviously doing something with it. I think Goldust has stayed around longer than they thought he would, and it's not because he's doing bad or anything. I mean, Goldust is probably doing some of his best work of his career right now.
You can say thank you to Diamond Dallas Page for that.
Yeah,
This is DDP yoga.
Yeah, and I enjoyed Cody and Goldust when they were just regular Cody and Goldust. I don't know. I think this Cody Rhodes is just being wasted as this, but it's something different. So I mean I'll give it a chance, especially if they did turn heel last night against the Usos. If this is the feud they're going with, then I mean that could be a really really good match at Night of Champions if this is the route they're going, which I expect that they are.
Yeah, I think this will be an act. I think they needed a new kind of heel team to come in, and a good one. Although I don't know why they just all of a sudden stopped with the Wyatts and the Usos. But if you're going to bring in another heel team, I mean, Goldust and Stardust together are an awesome team. So having these four men in the ring at the same time, it's going to be a great match. The thing with Cody as Stardust is, it scares me how charismatic he really is with this whole Stardust gimmick. Like,
yeah, I think he's just kind of just going with it.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job. I'm like you. It's like I just don't think they gave him enough of a chance as being himself with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and I think he was better as a heel, but... Yeah. I mean, he could do either or. It don't matter. He's too talented. But it's like, I mean, you give, all these guys pushes and stuff. But I'm not saying Cesaro doesn't deserve it. He does. But like people, like I'm trying to think of who else I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, even Sandow, I guess, because when he won the Money in the Bank and over Cody, like, Cody has put in his time. He's put in his work there, and he's not a bad wrestler. He's one of the best wrestlers in the company and one of the best entertainers, and he hasn't been given his fair shot yet, which I don't agree with, and which I don't get, because they usually give sons of former superstars like he is, a chance, and he hasn't really gotten his chance.
Well, I think he got his chance in their eyes when he was in Legacy, and when that didn't work as amazing as they thought, since those guys were as green as can be, then they're like, eh.
But they did pretty good against DX.
Yeah, they did do pretty good. But
I think Cody's best work came when he had the plastic mask on. And he was the Intercontinental Champion going against, like, Rey Mysterio and stuff. No, I thought that was Cody's best work when he was a heel.
I think for certain people, when CM Punk said that he was reaching for Vince McMahon's imaginary brass rings or whatever, they were just that, imaginary.
Oh, yeah. And that's...
people...
There's so many talented guys. I mean, we could go into an hour-long discussion of why isn't this guy, why isn't this guy, why isn't this guy.
Oh, yeah, we could go down the list.
Yeah, I mean, I can name, 3 or 4 off the top of my head. Yeah. Zack Ryder is talented. He created his own gimmick, pretty much, and did really well with it. He's not a bad wrestler. I mean, he's not CM Punk in the ring or Daniel Bryan, but he's pretty solid. You got Tyson Kidd, who is phenomenal, and Tyson Kidd has been entertaining the hell out of me on NXT.
Oh yeah, he's really starting to come out of his own shell on NXT, so that's really helped him actually.
Yeah, Justin Gabriel is another one who's a very talented wrestler. His mic work is so-so, but Alex Riley, I've always said that dude could be a really good character. He's very, very good on the mic. He's really underrated on the mic. I mean, I just keep going on and on.
Yeah, we could literally have a full hour show just on that.
But before we go on to the next thing, I wanted something you go back on something you mentioned was you said, what are they doing with the Wyatt family? I mean, what are they doing with the Wyatt family? It seems like ever since this Jericho feud started, they are like momentum and everything has just gone straight downhill.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they completely just forgot about them, and we had fully expected at SummerSlam there was going to be the rematch of, I mean, wasn't the month before just wasn't it like a 2 out of 3 falls match?
Yeah, it was the first match of the night, and it was I think we said it was the best match of the night.
Yeah, it was an amazing match. So we just fully expected them to continue this feud, and they just didn't. They didn't do anything with it. They didn't have an end at all. They just stopped.
Yeah, and they've kind of. Especially Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, haven't really done much lately. You've had Bray with Jericho, but the stuff with Bray and Jericho should be so much better, but it's not. Like,
yeah,
they're not giving it the time like they did with Bray and Cena.
No, they I mean, like they really could have done so much more with this, and I think if Paul Heyman was more vocal about stuff like this, I think. I would almost guarantee he has a great mind for what they should have done with this. Because this could have been something done in the original ECW with Raven. There's so much they can do with adding those pieces in with the feud, which was so amazing about ECW because they were able to incorporate tinier characters into a main storyline and make other people really relevant. And they really, I mean, even like 2 weeks ago on Raw, it was the Wyatt's first Big Show and Mark Henry, I think.
Yeah.
Or was that was? I
mean, last night was Cena versus Bray, and then it turned into Big Show, Mark, and Cena versus Wyatt family.
Yeah, which I don't know why you're having Big Show.
They buried the Wyatt family. I don't know. They're putting those two together in a tag team for whatever reason.
Yeah. So, whatever.
Like they're like, hey. Hey, Big Show, hey, Mark Henry, hey, you guys are a tag team now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much how it came. Like, I don't know how it came about. It's just another, stupid thing. I was actually enjoying Ryback and Curtis Axel together, and they've, like, kind of fallen off the face of the earth. I haven't seen them in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden now the tag team division isn't as strong as we once thought it was.
Yeah, it's like the Outlaws left, Shield has disbanded, so it's still a good division. I mean, you could bring up Tyson Kidd and Gabriel, you can bring up the Ascension, and it would get back to pretty. I've been bad. I haven't watched NXT for the last couple weeks, but I do know about the tag team tournament on NXT that's going on, and I would assume once that tournament is over, we're going to get something of new champions or something. The Ascension does not belong in NXT anymore at all. Like, I don't know if it goes into the same reason why if you watched the WWE Network special on the Shield and they talked about why Seth Rollins wasn't getting called up is because of his attitude. I don't know if these two have an attitude down there of just keep asking why aren't I up, why aren't we up, stuff like that. But it just literally makes no sense to me at all to have them still down there. I mean, you got to bring them up at some time, and they're going to either fight or they're going to die. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out because they're doing nothing in NXT. They're learning nothing more in NXT. They're not going to get better wrestling-wise. They're not going to get better on the mic, which they're not that good on the mic at all. But they're not going to get better in NXT because they're not given a time other than 15, 20 seconds after their matches. It's not happening. So just do something about it, WWE. Yeah.
All right. Now that I got my little rant going, I'm in. I'm ready. I'm pumped now. Let's do this.
All right. So I'm going to start with one of my topics right now that we can rant about a little bit. Now, right now, we talked about it last week. We had we said that there was a disagreement between Vince and Triple H over who should be the guy to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Vince McMahon is saying it's The Rock, it should be The Rock, and Triple H is saying we need to build a future star in Roman Reigns. Well, from everything I've been reading and gathering the last week since our last podcast, it sounds like Roman Reigns is going to be the guy to do it. First off, I want you to think, like, should Roman be the guy to destroy Brock Lesnar, or not destroy him, but to finally end Brock Lesnar's reign? Do you think he should be it?
I mean, when you're looking at future talent that will be ready in a couple months to take that role, the only two people I even have in my mindset are Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. Neither are ready, and neither will be ready. And what they did with Brock versus Cena was atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, I love it because it was genius at the moment, but now, no matter who takes him down, it's not going to be believable. It doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this next match with Cena is going to be very important. I really didn't want this to happen. I really didn't want Cena to have this match right now. I wanted them to play it off as he actually got injured and he actually got demolished, and they didn't do that. So they've already screwed that up.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
It's very important to see how dominant Brock is going to be against Cena, and it's going to tell us as fans what will be believable and viable for someone else to finally take away that title from Brock.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it sound like, from what Brock said last night, or Cena said last night on Raw, he came out on that stupid round table that we didn't even discuss because it didn't even deserve to be discussed.
Yeah, we're not even talking about it. That was horrible.
He said he is not going there to get his championship. He's going there to beat Brock Lesnar's ass. So that pretty much tells you he isn't going to win the title anyways.
No.
From that statement. But we also didn't expect that to ever happen. It's like a not even a 0.1 chance of happening of Cena ever winning that match. It's going to be, I think it'll be closer to what I thought it was going to be, a drag-out, knockout brawl, and Brock Lesnar ends up winning. I don't think they would do two months in a row of Brock just demolishing him.
No.
Now, okay, but this is my thing is, okay, you're going to have Brock and Cena again and do that match, and however it ends. Now you're going to have Roman Reigns, and they got to slowly build Roman Reigns up. And it started at SummerSlam. He defeated a multiple-time world champion in Randy Orton. So from here on out now, you have to have Roman Reigns pretty much win every single important match, at least on pay-per-views, from here on out. So he's got to be winning matches against some of the biggest names. I think Roman needs that feud with Triple H here soon. He's not going to get it this month. I think it might be Roman versus Seth this month at Night of Champions. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I could see that.
And if they do Roman versus Kane, I would be like, oh, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I hope it's not that.
Yeah.
But
please
so yeah, so I mean Roman needs that match with Triple H at least before the Royal Rumble, because it's obvious to me right now that Roman Reigns is going to win the Royal Rumble. There's nobody else that can win that Royal Rumble. Short of Daniel Bryan coming back, I don't think anybody's going to win that Royal Rumble but Roman Reigns. It's pretty much set in stone. So with that being the case, could this be enough for us to believe Roman can beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania if he goes through all these steps, and let's say he has a feud with Triple H, he wins the Royal Rumble and challenges Brock Lesnar for the title?
The steps that he has to take from this point to WrestleMania are the hardest and longest and most strenuous steps one could take, because he has to. They basically have to make his push now for the next couple of months be absolutely epic for us to believe that he can defeat Brock.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know how they're going to do it. And we've talked about this. This is why what they did was such a double-edged sword, because it's so frustrating, because for that night it was absolutely a genius booking job, but going forward you've now just really hurt yourself.
I want to know who Roman is going to feud with for the next 4 months.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, you're right, he has to go through people like Triple H.
Yeah, he went through Orton once.
He went through Orton. He has to go through Triple H.
Who else is there?
If Batista does return, we'll talk about that. You have to go through Batista. You have to go through. I mean,
there's nobody else.
You have to bring people I mean, it's unrealistic, but you have to bring back someone like The Rock. He has to go through The Rock. It's like he's got to make people he has the fans behind him, but it's just
and it would make no sense to have a Cena versus Roman match.
No, but here's the thing: if you put Brock in the ring with Roman Reigns, Brock's gonna just tower over him, and Roman's a big dude, but that's how big Brock is. And when you have Brock just throw around John Cena like a rag doll, I mean, that's why this match coming up is going to be so important. I expect him still to be demolishing Cena to a degree, but Cena, it's not going to be as bad. And I just don't know. I don't know how they're going to make this believable for the fans now.
Yeah, that was pretty much what I was getting at. Is I really don't know how Roman is going to get there. I really don't.
I mean, it's going to be like a kind of thing where, as fans, we're like, okay, yeah, it's fake. And I hate that. I hate that we kind of have to dumb down our own intelligence to be okay with something. But I don't feel there's any other way. Yeah, and it's kind of like Daniel Bryan, and the fans were so behind Daniel Bryan and still are. But I think the fans are definitely behind Roman, but not like Daniel Bryan. I mean, no, Daniel Bryan was something that happens once every, you could even say 10 years or something. The kind of just crowd reaction he got, and the fans got really behind him. I don't want to say is getting behind Austin, because it's not like that, but it's kind of like that in a way. As weird as it sounds, I mean, they're not going to be behind Roman. They're never going to be behind Roman like that. And it's just, these months are so crucial. I just don't know how they're going to do it. Yeah, and you can't have him wrestle Triple H 4 times. I mean, that's not going to happen. No, you can't do a 4-month straight pay-per-view series with them. I mean, it's going to be really interesting, but it's definitely a good conversation. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is that you have to keep putting him in these gimmicky matches. You have to have him win the Rumble, put him in Elimination Chamber and win Elimination Chamber. Do a scramble match or something like that and him win. I mean, just little big kind of gimmicky things that kind of they would do with John Cena to overcome the odds. They kind of have to do with Roman Reigns now. Well, speaking of the Elimination Chamber, there's usually the title is on the line inside the Elimination Chamber. I mean, didn't The Rock defend the title in the Elimination Chamber? I don't think he defended the title. I think it was I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, you're supposed to defend it. But for some reason, and I could be wrong, but for some reason, I want to think that The Rock was different, that he didn't have to defend his in the chamber or something like that. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember exactly because he beat Punk at the Rumble for the title, and Cena won the Rumble. And I think they still had the 2 titles, the 2 world titles at the time, didn't they? Yeah, they did. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I mean, could you imagine Brock Lesnar inside the Elimination Chamber?
Oh my gosh! I mean, you'd just be throwing people from one end to the next.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a perfect way to just make him even bigger monster than he already is. Just have him just demolish, be the first entrant inside the chamber, and just demolish 5 people. Oh man, I mean.
Okay. So I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
What did we have happen? Okay, so it wasn't even an Elimination Chamber match. How many was there? There was only one Elimination Chamber match of the night, and that was Jack Swagger defeating Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, Kane, Mark Henry, and Randy Orton. Yeah, and that was for the number 1 contenders match at WrestleMania 29.
Yeah, and wasn't that Dolph versus Jack Swagger or something?
Yeah, it could have been. And then The Rock defeated CM Punk in just a singles match.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think that The Rock was actually in one because they knew what would have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't want him to go through that brutal
match.
I wonder if they will have Brock do that this year.
It would be fun to see. They could keep making him. They could keep making him like this powerhouse, but it's like the more and more you do it, you need to have like someone look like the Great Khali that can actually wrestle.
Yeah.
Like you need to. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. And if Roman Reigns is the guy, great. But you better do a hell of a job in these next couple months.
There is no doubt in my mind that Roman Reigns is their guy. I mean, I think even if Daniel Bryan came back early from a surgery, he still wouldn't be able to take down Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I mean, if that happened, and say Daniel Bryan came back and won the Royal Rumble, okay, and he was the one to take down Brock Lesnar, you just wouldn't believe it.
No, it's laughable at best.
Yeah, and I mean, Roman Reigns is a big dude. I could definitely see him like beating him, but like, you know what Roman Reigns would really need is like a match with the Undertaker before WrestleMania.
Yeah, that would be huge.
And it would never happen, but it would that's what would need to happen. Like, you know, if you want to prove yourself, kid, this is the way to do it.
It's not just because it's Roman. It's I believe anyone in this spot. The only way I buy Brock Lesnar losing is by outside interference.
Yeah, or a 4-way match where he doesn't have to be pinned.
Yes, exactly. It has to be one or the other. Like, it has to be a thing where he's not actually pinned and loses, or
a wellness policy violation.
Someone has to. Yes, or a wellness policy violation. He has to hang out with Josh Gordon, basically. I'm not even going to touch that. I shouldn't have even brought that up. Oh my gosh, NFL, I hate you. All right,
Did they suspend him today?
No, they didn't suspend him. But they know the penalty now, but they are choosing not to tell the public the penalty.
Yeah.
So they are waiting for the opportune time. Just freaking tell us.
Yeah, because it hinders the Browns on what they can and can't do. They can't form their roster the way they need to if they're going to count on him or not.
It hinders my fantasy football draft.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I care about.
All right. Do you want to do a topic, or do you want me to do another one?
No, we're going to talk about Batista real quick.
All right. Let's talk about Batista.
All right. So Batista Batista. He was rumored to be coming back fairly soon. Actually, he was here for a little bit. Then he was going to promote Guardians of the Galaxy for a little bit and come right back. Now it seems he may not ever return. And that noise is every single wrestling fan saying, I couldn't care less. No one cares if Batista returns or not, really, honestly. But Batista believes he's a movie star now, and he believes there is going to be a sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, before you say that, I don't think he believes he's a movie star. I think his people are telling him, look how much money you made in a very successful film. Everyone is saying how good of a performance you did in this movie. Maybe you have something here. So I don't think it's him saying, oh, I'm this big movie star now. I think it's people telling him, hey, look, you can make a lot of money doing this, and you're not going to be damaging your body and all that. So I think it's one of those. He
basically wants to be The Rock Part 2.
Yeah, and
he wants to be the next Rock.
I mean, he's got the look for it. He's a big dude. I mean, he was never really good on the mic or anything. He was always decent, but...
Ooh, decent at best.
I think Cena's better in movies than Batista. I'd rather see a John Cena movie than a Batista movie.
Well, I'd rather like I would agree, but I don't know if Batista's really had that one role that really can show off any of his skills.
Have you seen Guardians? I haven't.
I haven't seen Guardians, but from what I understand, he's just a big jacked up dude that.
But that's his thing, though, is that's pretty much his only role. The Rock has shown he can do any role. He could be that tough badass, or he could be that funny, soft-hearted guy when he was playing the Tooth Fairy.
I kind of like the Tooth Fairy. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, The Rock is so charismatic, he can do any role. I mean, if you wanted to have him be a $2 transvestite hooker, he could probably do it.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
If we ever go back and just get sound bites, that's one of the best sound bites.
That'll be the opening.
How do you compare someone to a transvestite hooker? I have no idea.
Well, I'm just saying that's The Rock's. The Rock can do any role. I mean, he could do anything. Yeah,
and then in all honesty, The Rock, when he first started doing movies, he sucked. He had those kind of really dumb roles.
Yeah,
and then he would take the fun, lovable roles, and then he was like, "This is stupid. This is not what the kind of career I wanted." And now you're seeing him do more serious, badass roles, and he's really shining, I believe, as an actor. And
I think
any movie he's in, I kind of want to see now.
Because I think the part of the movie that I saw him in that I was like, okay, he's good, was I forget the name of it. I thought I had it, but maybe I don't. Where he was the football coach. Is that Gridiron Gang or something like that, where he coaches all the juvenile kids, delinquent kids?
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
I think it was the Gridiron Gang or something like that, but where he was the football coach. That was the movie where I'm like, okay, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and that was 2009, 2008, somewhere in there. And he's just gotten better. I mean, he's in Fast and Furious movies. Me and Jeff both love Fast and Furious, the whole trilogy, or not trilogy, the whole 7 movies.
The whole franchise.
And he's just a freaking badass in those movies.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing in those.
I haven't seen his new Hercules. I haven't seen any of that, but he looks like he played a great part in it, just from previews and stuff. It's like any movie he's pretty much in. He knocks it out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a really good job. So, I mean, we'll
see what Batista can do,
yeah.
But I think Batista's limited to the big tough guy role.
I think he is too, and we'll see. I mean, not that it's a huge loss if he doesn't come back, because I know I was excited for his return. Then he returned, and I was like, what was I excited for?
Yeah. You know who is very underrated, and I thought he did a good job, was Ted DiBiase in The Marine too.
Now, is that because you're a Ted DiBiase mark, or was he actually good?
I thought it was actually good. It was a lot better than the Marine 3 with The Miz, and that's not because it was The Miz. It was just a crappy movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Actually, and we're getting completely off topic now, but the other night I put on Netflix and I watched that Christmas movie with The Miz in it. I forget exactly. It was like The Christmas Bounty or something.
I didn't even know he had a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I had heard about it, but it was I think it was an ABC Family movie. But it was, he wasn't horrible in it, but it was just kind of funny because it's The Miz and he's acting like a guy from New Jersey.
Yeah, and well, the thing I hated about the Marine 3 is The Miz had a sister in the movie, right? And it was his younger sister that he was always looking after and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she was older than him. She looked completely older than him. There's no way she could pass as his younger sister. I'm like, you couldn't have casted somebody better. You couldn't have got, anybody. It's just, ugh. Yeah, the Marine 3 was a pretty bad movie. Like, I had high hopes after Marine 2 because I thought Ted DiBiase did a really good job in that movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up is Stone Cold. He kind of hinted at this week that he wanted to give it one more go. He's looking good lately. He does. He pops up on WWE from time to time. He did that. He hosted the forum a couple weekends ago for the WWE 2K15 video game. But I guess this week he kind of hinted at WrestleMania 32. I think it might be in Dallas. I'm certain it's in Texas. And so people are kind of wondering if he can actually go at this age, being that would be at WrestleMania 32. I personally.
What's with all the old guys saying they want to come back? I mean, you got Hulk Hogan at 65. I got one more in me, Vince.
Hulk Hogan's been saying that for 15 years, though. Like I mean, that movie with who was it? The wrestler?
Oh, Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, yeah. Like people like that painted a bad picture for some guys in pro wrestling, but that's kind of how it is.
I think that's more indies though, and not. I mean that was Ring of Honor kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was. It was like kind of like a Ring of Honor, like an ECW kind of thing. But I mean, we've seen it like from time to time. I mean, you see it with like Ric Flair didn't actually want to go, and I still believe that like Vince actually told him he had to go. Like we'll give you your retirement, but you got to go. And Hulk Hogan just never wants to stop. I
mean the guy's had how many?
I'm happy Shawn Michaels actually like was able to stop.
Yeah, and it's like Hulk's had like hip replacements and all kinds of surgeries, and it's like Hulk, just give it a rest, man.
Yeah. So I mean, for Stone Cold to do it, I would watch it.
Who would you want to see him face?
It would be someone young, which is a horrible idea, but that's what it would be. That's what they would want to do. Like, you're not going to have Stone Cold and The Rock go one last time. You would maybe see Stone Cold versus John Cena. It would be nice to see Stone Cold versus like a Bray Wyatt.
That's who I was thinking was Bray. That would be a good one.
Those promos would be amazing, I think.
I mean, the big one everyone always talked about was Stone Cold versus CM Punk. Do you think that would convince CM Punk to come back?
No, I don't think anything can convince CM Punk to come back anymore. I think CM Punk is. If you see, I don't think you will ever see CM Punk wrestle again for WWE.
Even to have his dream match against Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I don't think so.
I agree with you. I think Punk is. He's his own man. He is never gonna do something for money. He's never gonna do any of that stuff. He's gonna do what CM Punk wants to do, and yeah, I think I agree with you. I don't think we'll ever see CM Punk in a wrestling ring ever again. No,
I mean if there was no way to bring him back recently, it seems he's really, really content with his life now, and he's just really. He doesn't need to be in wrestling. That's his attitude. take it or I mean, you can love it or you can hate it about CM Punk, but that's who he is. So I don't think he'd be back. If Stone Cold came back, I would want to see it one more time. I'm not gonna lie, but based off that one more time, I would probably never want to see it again. And even then, I'll kind of be like, we didn't need this to happen.
Yeah, I don't even know who I'd want him to face. I mean, I think Stone Cold versus John Cena is the obvious choice.
It's always the obvious choice for like all these older people because John Cena's been the face and they want to just go one-on-one with the face of the company from today versus yesterday. So
yeah. So, all right. Well, here's another topic I wanted to bring up. And I mean, we've talked about it before, but it kind of just confirms it. So I was looking at No DQ, the website me and Jeff get our wrestling news from, pretty much, and they posted a video of John Cena doing a workout in California. It was sometime after SummerSlam, with this like really like big weightlifter, like teacher dude, I don't know his name, but like for bench pressing and stuff, he's like one of the main guys. So it was basically just a filming session of John Cena lifting at this guy's gym.
Is it the same gym that like Cena usually goes to that they film stuff for?
No.
Okay.
This is a different guy. So, you know, they're showing John Cena lifting and stuff, and they're doing his reps, and he's going through his program that he has set up. And there's a cameraman and the main guy, and they're talking about wrestling and talking about the SummerSlam match a little. And the camera guy goes, hey, John, when are you just gonna be the bad guy? When are you gonna turn heel? And the weightlifter guy was like, yeah, it would be the most epic heel turn of all time, and everybody wants to see it. We know you got it in you. And he's like, one day it'll happen. And John Cena just laughed and listened. He's like, it'll never happen. And just the guys were egging him on, pretty much saying, oh, yeah, man, one day when you're an old, grizzled veteran, you'll do it. And he's like, nope, it'll never happen. So I was just kind of curious to what you thought about John Cena pretty much saying, he didn't explain why. I mean, we obviously know the reasons why, of the Make-A-Wish, the merchandise, and all that, and the PG era. But just kind of wanted to get your reaction to that.
Oh, man. I mean, I talked about this with my brother, actually, earlier today. It's if we ever got this heel turn, it would be up there with Hulk Hogan's heel turn.
Yeah, but that's the thing, too. They have to set it up that way. It has to be so epic, just like Hulk Hogan's was, because if it's anything short of that, what was the point?
It's got to be, and that's the thing. And I think they learned from the Stone Cold turn too.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
It was horrible, and you're right. If you go through with it, it first of all has to be such an amazing swerve that it really is just like mind blowing, and two, you have to make sure it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Stone Cold's was necessarily a failure, but him joining up with Vince McMahon was, pretty...
It was a bad idea.
Bad idea, but it made sense.
It made... Listen, I at the time agreed with them on it. It was something that was surprising for the fans, and you didn't see it coming, and then you're like, wow, I can't believe this man that he would loathe for so many years and fight with for so many years and just go with him. Like that's a great story wrestling or wrestling storyline. It really is. It's just it wasn't processed correctly. They didn't go through with it correctly because and maybe it's a part of it is the fans didn't want it to happen. Just like when the Hardys first split up, the fans didn't want that to happen. And I love when brothers split up and go against each other. So I was all for that as well. But there's certain things that the fans just don't let you do sometimes. And depending on how creatively you can be, you can overcome that. I don't think they were creative enough with the Stone Cold thing. I think they were scared with the Stone Cold thing. With John Cena, it could be epic. Excuse me. It could be really, really amazing and awesome to see. I just don't know if they first of all, I know they don't have the creativeness behind it right now. But if they really did have a great storyline behind it, even just for a solid 3 to 4 months, I think it would be one of the coolest things to ever talk about in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think the only way I could ever see this happening, I mean, yeah, you could have the only way to really turn on the WWE would be to turn on the whole WWE. And that would be if they ever bought TNA and did a TNA invasion storyline and re-brought that in. And, you know, in the big match between TNA and WWE and Cena was the one who just churned on WWE and said, F you, I'm going with TNA or something.
Can you imagine just the thought of a promo of John Cena coming out and saying, like, I can't believe I wasted so many of my hours on those dying children.
That would never
imagine the heel heat he would get for that.
Oh, oh my God, I wish this was ECW.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
because Paul Heyman would be like, go out there and do it.
Down my neck just thinking about that. The heel heat he would get would top Hulk Hogan's heel heat. It really would. Like him or hate him, and I obviously am vocal about not always loving John Cena, like a lot of people are. But
I guarantee you, if that happened, you would be a John Cena fan.
Oh my gosh, I'd buy a shirt.
You would.
I'd buy a shirt. I'd find John Cena and be like, please, John, please sign this for me.
Yeah, and I bet you in Vince McMahon's mind, because the guy is creatively a genius, I bet you in Paul Heyman's mind, I bet you maybe even Triple H's mind, that little nugget sits back there in their mind of what
if. Oh, it's got to.
What if? And I know they can't do it because he's just the stuff he does with Make-A-Wish and his merchandise sales and all of that, but that little nugget is back there, and they're just itching to throw it out there one day. And I pray that one day that we do see that, but man, I agree with you that, like, if he said, I'm sick of, taking care of your sick children.
Yeah.
And being their hero. I am sick of being the hero. I would rather be, the bane of the world.
Like, it's all there. The story is there, right in front of them, and it's golden. It really is. It would be the greatest thing to happen in pro wrestling for a very long. It would be one of the most groundbreaking storylines to happen, and it's right there. They know it's right
probably
there.
Since the NWO.
Yeah, and it would be huge. It would be so big. I hope one day we get to see it, but that time is getting less and less likely as we go on.
Okay. Here's another idea that just pops into my head. As how unever likely it is, it would never happen. But what if? We'll just say what if. What if Jeff Jarrett's new Global Wrestling Federation just, it gets bigger and bigger over the years, and Cena and Vince or Cena and Triple H have a rift, and Cena's like, screw this, I'm out of here, pretty much like Hulk Hogan did. Or just some controversy where Cena has to leave WWE or whatever. And Cena went over and joined Global Wrestling Federation and did that.
It wouldn't mean as much at all, unfortunately.
Well, it's kind of like what Hogan did, pretty much. I mean, but it still meant a lot. It would just give so much momentum to Jeff Jarrett's.
It would, but that would also have to mean that Global Wrestling Federation got pretty big, like bigger than TNA.
Yeah.
As WCW at that time they weren't at WWF's level, but they were
on their way. Yeah.
They were on their way. They were close. They were in the conversation at least. And as much as TNA fans, and me being included as a TNA fan, wanted TNA to be that next kind of WCW and kind of really compete with them, they never were honestly really ever there.
No.
it was just all on potential and hope, and that all faded away once Dixie Carter decided that she wanted a bigger role.
I think we'll just both have that boner in the back of our mind for a John Cena just epic heel return.
Yeah.
Heel promo.
I think
I would want Paul Heyman to sit there with him and help him come up with whatever he's gonna say. Sit Paul Heyman and John Cena in a room for 3 hours and let them brainstorm and come up with something, and I guarantee you it will be better than whatever Hulk Hogan did in WCW.
Yeah, I mean, and actually that's a good transition. The last thing that we're going to bring up is the fact that something that we have been both waiting for ever since the idea of this network getting launched, and that is that Nitros are finally going to get added to the network. At least the first 100 hours of Nitro. This is why the network is important. The pay-per-views are awesome that they put on there. The original content is fun to watch, but at least for me, getting to relive WCW's history with like the Nitros, and if we get the Thunders and even WWF, like getting more of their older weekly shows on there too. It's really amazing, and I'm thrilled that Nitro is finally going to start to get added.
Yeah, how awesome would it be just to be able to go back in time and watch Nitro and Raw from the same night, and just see how storylines progressed back then. Even like a lot of the younger kids nowadays, they don't even know about Triple H or Stone Cold and The Rock and how they became so big.
Yeah.
When I was like 12, 13 years old when all that started. So kids nowadays, or even if you were like 6, 7, 8 years old back then, you don't really understand how big Stone Cold and The Rock were and how great their feuds were. Just to be able to go back and watch all that again and remember how good wrestling was compared to what the shit is nowadays.
Yeah. It's great to be able to finally relive certain kind of moments. People will get to see the cruiserweights eventually. At first, I know you just had like... it
was just all the old big stars. You had
Yeah.
Savage and Flairs and Hogans.
Yeah, and you're going to get to see how like those people jumped from WWF to WCW, as well as you're going to get to relive it on the Monday Night Wars. So...
And the biggest one is you get to see the NWO and how it was formed and how it started and how it became bigger, and the legend of Sting and how Sting versus the NWO was built up for pretty much wasn't it like a whole year it was built up?
Yeah.
Before the Starrcade Sting and Hogan match. You get to see that and relive that. That is what I am looking forward to most. Goldberg, you get to relive Goldberg's whole reign. All of that. You get to relive all of that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of negatives of WCW towards the end, but you're going to get to see a lot of the positives that they had as well.
I might stop watching when the Vince Russo Nitros start.
Gosh.
And David Arquette is your champion.
Oh, man. The one thing a wrestling fan can never let down, at least a WCW fan.
I take that back. I would watch Vince Russo era of WCW because I need to relive some slap nuts and some Jurassic slap ass and some El Kabongs and all that.
That was the best part of Jeff Jarrett ever.
Oh, that is why I am still a diehard Jeff Jarrett fan to this day, is because of that gimmick. I hated him in WWE when he was going against China and when he was the country singer. I'm like, this guy sucks. But then he became the chosen one, and I fell in love.
It was honestly a perfect gimmick for him, and yeah. I remember going through high school, I think it was at the time, and then I would just go up to people and be like, "Get out of my way, you Jurassic slap ass."
Yeah, and calling people slap nuts, and they don't even know what the hell that means, and just Jeff Jarrett promos. I really enjoyed Shane Douglas at the end there in WCW.
Yeah.
Like, he was awesome. Yeah, you get to do that. You get to relive Booker T coming back up and how Booker T became a star. I'm pretty sure it'll be on there. And not all of the matches, but Chris Benoit versus Booker T, best of 7 for the TV title.
Yep, and then putting in Raven and DDP.
Raven, DDP.
The cruiserweights.
Who could forget the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan Halloween Havoc 98?
We all hoped we could.
I'll tell you another very interesting one was always Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman like fit into the NWO, man. He
Oddly
was like
enough.
super cool. And Karl Malone and DDP teaming up, and Jay Leno and DDP teaming up.
Yeah. The good and the bad. You're gonna get to see it all.
Yeah, like, man, there's just so many memories. Like, I could go on and on and on. I think my favorite memory will have to be that one WCW Nitro where Goldberg won the U.S. title and the World Heavyweight title in Atlanta, Georgia, that one night.
Yeah,
that crowd was epic.
That's a kind of moment, and now as I've gotten older, I'm not a big Goldberg fan. Like, realizing exactly how crappy he kind of was and how bitter he was within the business. But that moment was like one of those big time feel moments where it's like, I know I can remember exactly where I was when I saw that happen.
Yeah.
Like, I remember key things about that day, because that day was just such a big moment for WCW, and it was just a big moment in wrestling in general.
Yeah. I mean, they sold out the Georgia Dome. It was like pretty much nowadays of WWE going into, these big arenas.
Like the Staples Center.
Yeah, no, and not bigger than that. Bigger, like going into the WrestleMania 70,000 stadiums and 100,000 people, like, stadiums. Like, that's how big the Georgia Dome sat that. It was at least 70,000 they sat that day.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think it was that big.
Oh, the Georgia Dome was huge.
Well, that is going to be it, I believe, everybody. Yeah, it wasn't a huge week and a half of professional wrestling, but there was a couple fun things to talk about. We will be back next Friday, and until then, see you guys later.
All right, we'll see you later.